Well, it's a very warm welcome back to second half independent off-tube studio commentary from the game at Stamford Bridge. West London derby between Chelsea and Brentford. It is goalless after a bright start from Brentford. Chelsea certainly ending the first half the stronger, but now a real chaotic back pass here towards David Raya. He won't thank his defenders for that. A real mess here for Brentford at the start of the second half. Mason Mount tried to play a ball forward. Havertz was dispossessed, and then Vitaly Janelt pinged the ball back towards his goalkeeper. Raya had very little chance of actually keeping that in play, and in the end he didn't manage it. Got a bit of a sort of shank on that, and in the end it goes out for a corner kick. So Chelsea inside the first minute with a set piece now. It's an outswinger from Mason Mount, headed away though by Ivan Toney. To be useful in defence there, Toney. And the ball now out on the left-hand side here as it's with Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Looks up for options, plays a ball forward, and then it's cleared up towards the halfway line. Can't see any changes for the two sides, so we'll just see this passage of play from Chelsea, and then I'll remind you of the two teams. But it's with Mason Mount down the right-hand side, inside towards Azpilicueta. Back now towards Loftus-Cheek. Azpilicueta rolling the ball now towards Thiago Silva. So Chelsea, Edouard Mendy in goal, a back four of Cesar Azpilicueta, Thiago Silva, Antonio Rudiger and Marcus Alonso. The three in midfield, N'Golo Kante, Ruben Loftus-Cheek and Mason Mount, with Hakim Ziyech, Timo Werner and Kai Havertz as the three up front. For Brentford, David Raya in goal, a back four of Christopher Ajer, Pontus Jansson and Ethan Pinnock. And Rico Henry, I should say. The three across the middle of Vitaly Janelt, Christian Norgard and Christian Eriksen, with Mads Roslev and Bryan Mbeumo playing as the two wide men. Ivan Toney is the man up front. Chelsea in possession now down the left-hand side. It's out for a throw, and it's Alonso in towards Loftus-Cheek, about 40 yards out from goal. Loftus-Cheek with options left and right, goes square to Azpilicueta. And now it's with Ziyech down the right, gets it in towards Havertz. Ziyech with the ball into the box, headed away by Roslev. But not too far away, it's still lurking at the edge of the area. It drops to Ziyech, and then he finds Werner down the left-hand side, getting towards the edge of the penalty area. Werner in towards the box. It's played away here though. Toney getting in the way of Ziyech, but Chelsea still keep the ball alive just at the edge of the penalty area. It's Mount into Havertz. Havertz back towards Ziyech. A bit of a slip there from Ethan Pinnock. Chelsea still in possession at the edge of the box as Loftus-Cheek drops the shoulder, trying to get away from Janelt. Can only play it square though to Rudiger. And now it's with Alonso. Alonso looking at options here, can't find anyone. He drops to Rudiger. Rudiger trying one from 30 yards. Oh, what a goal, Antonio Rudiger. I mentioned in the first half he likes a shot from distance, and he certainly proved that there. What a great strike from Rudiger. Ball flicks off the post and goes into the back of the net. Chelsea in front inside the first 3 minutes of the second half. And that's a big, big goal for Thomas Tuchel's side. They weren't at the races in the first half. Barely got into second gear at times. But a very bright start here inside the first few minutes. Really trying to press on Brentford. And we'll see this replay again. It's Kante that lays it off to Rudiger. Rudiger's 30, if not 35 yards out. It's a great strike. And you can see Kai Havertz actually got his head in his hands. He can't believe what he's seen his fellow compatriot do there. It's got a bit of swerve on it as well. Flicks off the inside of the post and past David Raya. Does it take a deflection, or has it got a bit of extra movement in there off the laces? In any case, it's a brilliant strike there from Rudiger. I don't think it gets a deflection off Norgard. It goes very close to the Dane, but I think it's just the rotation that Rudiger's got on the ball that's given his side the lead there. Thomas Tuchel delighted with that, as are the Chelsea faithful here at Stamford Bridge. By the way, we've got another goal early on in the second half at Ellen Road as well, where James Ward-Prowse, the Southampton captain, has equalised. And it's now Leeds United 1, Southampton 1 at Ellen Road. But Brentford trying to respond straight away here. Long ball up towards the edge of the area. It's with Rico Henry. He then laid it off towards Toney. Toney found Janelt, and Mbuemo hit it first time, but the effort from Mbuemo was straight at the goalkeeper. Brentford back in possession here though. Norgard wins it back, and then he finds Toney. Toney to Janelt. Janelt hits it with the left foot, and Brentford are level inside just 2 minutes. It's a great strike from the German who's just signed a new contract this week, and Brentford are level at Stamford Bridge. A great response there from the Bees, right in front of those travelling fans. They've only had to travel a few miles today, but they'll be absolutely delighted with that. It's Chelsea 1, Brentford 1. What a great goal this is from Vitaly Janelt. Chelsea just a bit slow at dealing with this ball in midfield. Good play there from Mbuemo just to spot Janelt to the side of him, and Janelt really puts his left foot through that. We've had 2 goals in the space of 2 minutes, both scored by German nationals. And albeit Rudiger certainly would be a contender for goal of the month, Janelt is certainly a very good effort as well. And he drives that one past Edouard Mendy. And great response this from Brentford. So just 5 minutes into the second half, and it's all square here at Stamford Bridge. Game on. Absolutely, Chelsea would have been hoping that after that early strike from Antonio Rudiger, they would then settle down. But it's that old cliche, isn't it, that teams are most susceptible to conceding when they've just scored themselves. And even aside with the wealth of talent that Chelsea have, proving that very much is the case. Just a little bit slow in dealing with a couple of loose balls in midfield and a couple of passes later. And the visitors are level, so we'll see how the game pans out from here as Eriksen now plays the ball down the middle here, looking for Mbuemo to chase. But Rudiger gets there first, and then he finds Marcus Alonso. Alonso inside towards Ruben Loftus-Cheek, who was brought down, and that will be a free kick to Chelsea, still inside their own half. And so just the one goalless game left in the Premier League this afternoon. That is at the Amex, where it's Brighton and Hove Albion 0, Norwich City 0. But Neil Maupay missed a penalty there for Brighton on 29 minutes. At Turf Moor, it's Burnley 0, Manchester City 2, with goals from De Bruyne and Gundogan giving the league leaders the lead there. It's Leeds United 1, Southampton 1, with Jack Harrison scoring for Leeds on 29 minutes and an equaliser from James Ward-Prowse just after the restart. 1-1 at Ellen Road, and Wolves still with that 2-goal lead against Aston Villa. Johnny Castro with the first goal for Wolves, and then an Ashley Young own goal, doubling the home side's advantage. And here at Stamford Bridge, 1-1 between Chelsea and Brentford, as Brentford win the ball back in midfield. And Havertz went down, referee not interested in giving him a free kick. The loose ball though picked off here by Ayer. He then finds Roslev. Square now to Nørgaard. Nørgaard finds Ethan Pinnock. Pinnock across now towards Janelt, the goal scorer, as his pass though was stopped by Azpilicueta. That's a good ball from Azpilicueta as well to find Havertz. Havertz threads the ball into Werner. Werner, the angle is tight. That's a great sliding challenge though from Christopher Ayer. Superb there from the Norwegian international, getting across and putting that challenge in. I don't think there's an offside there against Havertz as that ball was played to him. Certainly no danger of Werner being offside, but that's a good challenge there. Ayer timing his slide there perfectly, and he puts it out for a corner. It's going to be an outswinger here from Mason Mount. Plenty to aim for inside that penalty area. It's lifted towards the edge of the 6-yard box. It drops to Rudiger after it was headed away. The shot is charged down. Then Mount tries one from a tight angle from the right-hand side, firing it towards goal. It was saved, and then the rebound fortuitously fell to a Brentford player, and it's cleared up towards the halfway line. And now Brentford have a chance to go on the counter. It's 2-on-1 here. It's Mbuemo and Eriksen. And Mbuemo gets to the edge of the area. He spots Eriksen, and Eriksen makes it 2-1. Brentford are in front at Stamford Bridge. What a crazy start to this second half. And Christian Eriksen, who's just enjoyed a fantastic couple of games for Denmark, back in his national team, scoring goals, has now got a goal for Brentford as well. On 54 minutes, it's now Chelsea 1, Brentford 2. And it just goes to show that this poor form that we saw from Chelsea in the first half is carrying on into the second. Chelsea caught out by something that Brentford are often caught out by, i.e. leaving too many players up for a set piece, and then suddenly leave themselves wide open. Ziyech far too easy there in letting Mbuemo get away from him, and Chelsea just had too many players forward. Mbuemo plays that ball to Eriksen, not a chance of Eriksen being offside, and a cute left-footed finish, lifting it over Mendy as well. Chelsea 1, Brentford 2 at Stamford Bridge. Great finish there from Eriksen, lifting that over Mendy. But Chelsea, they need to wake up quickly here, because the two goals that Brentford have scored have just been, well, the first one was just far too open in midfield, and the second one is just a counter-attack where Chelsea just leaving far too many players forward. But that big smile on Christian Eriksen's face, he really has really drawn in so many plaudits from around the world, the way he's come back into the game. And as I say, he's been saying since he's been back at Brentford, all he's wanted to do was just get back on the pitch and enjoy his football again. And he's certainly doing that. As I mentioned, he had a great week for Denmark as well, getting back amongst the goals for his national team. It was a very emotional time when he was able to make his return into the national team. And Chelsea, straight away, going for the jugular here. They're making a change in one of their midfield positions as Marcus Alonso is off, and he's replaced by Reece James. That might mean that Chelsea go to a 3 at the back now. I would imagine that it's going to be Rudiger, Thiago Silva and Azpilicueta as a back 3, and then Reece James joins into that midfield to turn it into a midfield 4. So a 3-4-3 now for Chelsea as they look to try and get back into this game as quickly as possible. Ball now back with Thiago Silva. Lays it in towards Kante. Kante's pass stopped there by Pontus Jansson. And now it's going to be a real test here for Brentford's defence. We're only on 56 minutes here, so there's still plenty of time for Chelsea to try and get back into this game. And they're on the attack now with Hakim Ziyech in towards Azpilicueta. Back to Ziyech. He's got option T. Lifts the ball towards the back post, and it's come off Roslev. Has it come off Werner? I think it may have come off the Brentford man last. No, it hasn't. Oh, it has come off the Brentford man last. I just thought that Werner was doing the roll of the ball boy there to try and get Raya to restart play quickly. But no, in fact, it has come off Mads Roslev. So it will be a corner kick to Brentford. So a corner kick to Chelsea down the left-hand side. Swung out by Hakim Ziyech, headed away by Christian Norgard. Loose ball cleared away by Bryan Mbeumo. And Mbuemo should get there first. This could be a chance here for Brentford to go another counter, but this time, in fairness, Chelsea have got far more players back. So they've certainly learnt their lesson from the previous set piece. I mean, Brentford cleared the ball almost as quickly as with their second goal, but Chelsea had 5 players back this time. But Brentford still carrying on here down the right-hand side. It's with Mbuemo. He's been stopped by Reece James. He nutmegs James and finds Roslev. Roslev then gets to the line. He's stopped by Rudiger, and Brentford have themselves a corner kick. And so this is a good chance now for the Bees to try and get players into the box. The live table shows Brentford jumping into 14th place. 11 points clear of relegation, which certainly makes very good reading if you're a Brentford supporter. But now it's going to be Christian Eriksen to take this corner kick from the right-hand side. He's got players to aim for inside the box. Looking to try and pick out a teammate here. There's 5 players to aim for just at the edge of the 6-yard box here for Eriksen. He lifts it, aiming for Ayer. It's headed away and into midfield, and now Brentford have got to stream back because Chelsea can go on the counter here as Kante plays a quick ball down the right-hand side, looking for the run of Timo Werner, but in fairness, Rico Henry is back there quickly, does what he can to stop Timo Werner. Referee, I think Andy Madley, was considering a free kick there for Chelsea, but no, it gives the advantage, and now it's Norgard who's brought down by Azpilicueta, and that will be a free kick to Brentford. So this is good news here for the Beast, just to try and slow things down. Norgard brought down. So it's still got a fellow Dane playing alongside him in midfield, albeit Matthias Jensen was the regular starter for Brentford, but now with Eriksen in the team and Jensen's form a little bit off for Brentford this season. Seems like that's quite a solid duo. In fact, a trio, because certainly Vitaly Janelt has been pretty much ever present for Brentford all season. There was a time when they had Frank Onyeka in the team a little bit more. He's just come back after that game for Nigeria, where Nigeria actually lost on away goals. African football still uses away goals in their World Cup playoffs, and so Ghana through to the World Cup, having beaten Nigeria on away goals. But here come Chelsea now down the left-hand side with Reece James inside to Loftus-Cheek. Plays it to Azpilicueta. Azpilicueta lifts the ball towards the back post. Ayer is there, heads it out. Corner kick to Chelsea. And the home side now, you can just expect it's going to be one-way traffic from now on. It's just a case of how Chelsea apply the fact that you would imagine they're going to have a real advantage in possession now. It's just a case of how they use it, and from Brentford's point of view, they've got to do what they can to stifle Chelsea, not sit too deep, but then obviously not push too high up because they don't want to leave too much space in behind. It's going to be an outswinger here from Hakim Ziyech towards the edge of the 6-yard box. It's headed down, and it looks like it's going to go out for a goal kick, is it? Toney wanted to let it go, but it's still in play. And then Toney does very well there just to draw the foul from Antonio Rudiger. Using that experience that he's gaining week by week there, Toney. I think he wanted to let it go for a goal kick, realised that it didn't quite have enough pace on it, so he had to try and play it away himself. And it's going to be a free kick. Meanwhile, we're looking at substitution here for Brentford. Yoan Wissa is getting ready to come on. DR Congo international. And it looks like Matthias Jensen is getting ready to come on as well. So it looks like it's going to be a midfield change and an attacking change for Brentford. I do wonder what the plan is, but in the meantime, it's a long clearance here from Raya, headed down by Ivan Toney. It reaches Mbuemo. just at the edge of the area. Then Toney threads the ball through to Janelt, and he's onside, and Janelt's tucked the ball past the goalkeeper. Brentford have a 3-1 lead at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea have gone to pieces in defence, and it's just a little ball threaded through by Ivan Toney towards Vitaly Janelt. He then plays it away past the goalkeeper at the near post, and Brentford lead 3-1 at Stamford Bridge. Crazy scenes at the away end there as the Brentford fans going absolutely crazy. And this could be an absolutely crucial 3 points for Brentford in their bid to try and avoid a relegation. It's a long clearance from Raya. Toney heads it on, and Mbuemo holds it up at the edge of the box. He then lays it off to Toney. Toney plays it first time. It's a great through ball. There's no hint of offside. And then Janelt with a very clever chip over the goalkeeper and into the back of the net. 61 minutes gone. Independent off-tube studio commentary. It's Chelsea 1, Brentford 3. And this really is revenge for Brentford. They really felt as though they deserved at least a point against Chelsea in the reverse fixture, I should say, earlier this season. But heroics from Mendy on that night meant that Chelsea took all 3 points. But Brentford now in a very, very strong position to take all 3 points this afternoon. There's still a long way to go, of course. We're only at 62 minutes now. So potentially Chelsea will still be looking to get back in. But this could also be a bit of a coupon buster. Although with Chelsea being in the position that they're in off the field, you have to say it hasn't really affected them on the field. The only defeat that Chelsea have had since the end of January was that game they lost on penalties to Liverpool in the Carabao Cup final. Every other game that Chelsea have won, and certainly the last game Chelsea had in England before the international break was that 2-0 win away at Middlesbrough. They beat Lille 2-1 away in the Champions League just before then as well. That's after they beat Lille 2-0 at Stamford Bridge. So Chelsea have been in very good form. And as I say, Real Madrid will be keeping an eye on this result, thinking that potentially Chelsea might just be a little bit off colour at the moment after this international break. But here come the home side now with Hakim Ziyech down the right-hand side. It's blocked by Janelt, lifts the ball into the box. It's headed away by Pontus Jansson. The ball then drops towards Rudiger. He holds it up and then finds Timo Werner. Werner trying to get away from Christian Eriksen. Kante then with an effort, which in fairness is just practice there for goalkeeper David Raya. Now, interestingly enough, I mentioned that double change that Brentford were about to make before they scored their third goal. I do wonder whether or not Thomas Frank has just thought about perhaps just stopping that for the time being. He doesn't really want to upset the rhythm that his 11 have got out there now, because they really look very well organised. Chelsea, meanwhile, are preparing to make their second change, and it looks like Romelu Lukaku is going to be coming on here for Thomas Tuchel's side. But meanwhile, it's Azpilicueta getting towards the edge of the area, down the right-hand side. He finds Hakim Ziyech, back to Azpilicueta, holds the ball up and then plays it in towards Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Ball then played back towards the halfway line. And here is Reece James. He then finds Kante at the edge of the area. Kante trying to get away from Mason Mount. The visitors flooded back at the edge of their own box, but it is now with Thiago Silva over towards Azpilicueta. He drops his shoulder, gets away from Vitaly Janelt. His strike gets a big deflection and actually changes direction so much that it drops to Rico Henry, who then is able to clear it. He plays the ball down the left-hand side here for Ivan Toney. Toney runs straight into trouble though, and a chance now here, and I think the referee is just going to come across and just try and calm things down here. I think he has been given us a free kick. Toney, I don't think there's much more needs to be said there, but in the meantime we're going to see a double change for Chelsea. So Thomas Tuchel isn't hanging around. He's making his second and third changes now in the 64th minute. Timo Werner is off, and well, the graphic shows that Kovacic is replacing Timo Werner. I'm not so sure about that, but obviously it means that there's going to be another tinkering in the formation. But Kovacic is on the field, Werner is off, and now this makes more sense, yeah. So it is actually N'Golo Kante that's going off to be replaced by Mateo Kovacic, and Timo Werner replaced by Romelu Lukaku. That makes a lot more sense. And Lukaku now on the field to try and get on the end of this free kick. It's going to be a right-footed outswinger from Reece James. And Brentford have set up at the edge of the area with their offside line. And James now just waiting to see that his teammates are in. A ball is whipped in, and it's in the back of the net. But I think the flag has gone up. Havertz is wagging the finger there. He's saying that there's no foul, there's no offside. We'll wait to see what the referee wants to say about this. Doesn't look as though the goal has been given. Just waiting to see exactly as that ball was whipped in. Is there an offside there? Referee, we'll see from this angle here as the ball comes in. Does Havertz use his hand? That's the question there. The ball drops to Havertz and his arm is out. And it looks as though Andy Maddy doesn't even need to see the replay himself. Looks like the VAR officials at Stockley Park have done that for him. So still 3-1 here to Brentford then on 66 minutes at Stamford Bridge. And it's still goalless at the Amex between Brighton and Norwich. No change in any of the other scores either as Brentford go forward now. Long ball down the left-hand side. Toney chasing this one. And in the end, he couldn't quite keep it in play, but he at least flicks the ball so it doesn't go out for a goal. It's a throw on to Chelsea right by the corner flag. And Brentford just appealing that the throw-on should be taken a little bit further back. But we know that these days, that's the easy... I mean, Aspilicueta's nicked about 10 yards there, but I'm not even worried about that because that is the easiest defence to get away with on a football field these days. As a loose ball played back towards Raya, there needed to be a little bit more pace on that from Janelt, but Raya comes out and does make the clearance. It's up on the halfway line now. Kovacic back towards Rudiger, and he plays it back towards goalkeeper Edouard Mendy. Visitors trying to push as high as they can, but again, it's always that difficult balance here of trying to push forward so that you don't sit too deep. But then if you push too far forward, then of course it encourages balls over the top and through balls as well to just slice open the defence. So it really is a case now of Brentford just keeping the resilience that they've had since they've equalised and then taken the lead. Really is unexpected when you think that Chelsea have been so strong over the last 2 months. Pretty much unbeaten, barring that cup final on penalties. And then you think that they had a poor first half, probably got a bit of an earful from Thomas Tuchel at half-time, and then take the lead within inside 3 minutes. You think, well, this is, normal service resumed then at Stamford Bridge. But since then, it's anything but, and Brentford really have upset things here for the home side. But Chelsea pushing forward now down the left here with Hakim Ziyech. He switched now to the left since these substitutions have taken place. It's back now with Rudiger. Is he going to shoot from distance again? He is. He tries his luck again. This time it's straight down the middle though. Never got the sort of curl and the sort of rotation movement on the ball that he managed the previous time. And an easy save here for David Raya. Well, this is not the preparation that Chelsea wanted before their big game against Real Madrid in midweek. That is at home as well, and that is coming up this Wednesday. Chelsea's next game in the league is at St Mary's. They're away to Southampton next Saturday. Before that return leg in Madrid on the 16th. But in the meantime, Brentford taking a short goal kick, and Raya gets charged down there by Havertz. That's the sort of thing that Chelsea have to be very careful of, as Havertz now goes through one-on-one, gets that ball away from Raya, and it's just past the post. Chelsea are getting closer and closer here. Brentford are living dangerously inside their own half now. First of all, Raya's clearance charged down and deflected over the bar, and this time Brentford again playing a very high line. Nobody watching Havertz. Raya slipped as well as that ball was threaded through towards Havertz, and the German just puts the ball wide as Raya was just trying to get his balance again, having fallen over, and the ball from Havertz just missing the post. You've got to say that is a let-off for Brentford, really. But the ball now hooked up in the air by Ethan Pinnock. And it drops to Thiago Silva, played up in the air now by Antonio Rudiger, headed down by Lukaku. Fight for it in midfield here as Mbuemo is brought down, and there's no advantage, so that will be a free kick to Brentford, just inside the centre circle. And Rudiger just checking on Mbuemo there, showing a little bit of sporting aftercare there, despite the fact that he really did tread on the heel of Mbuemo quite badly. But Mbuemo now slowly picking himself up. Eriksen standing over this. As I say, it's a free kick for Brentford inside the centre circle here. So I can't imagine they're going to be sending this too far forward, particularly with Chelsea playing quite a high offside line as well. So they've really sort of narrowed the space that Brentford can work in side Chelsea territory. Eriksen over the ball. His arm up as well. Eriksen does play a long ball towards the left-hand edge of the penalty area, aimed for Ethan Pinnock. It's flicked away by Kai Havertz, but then Janelt wins that ball back. Is it a corner kick to Brentford? It's not. Janelt got the final touch, according to the officials, And so that will be a goal kick to Chelsea. 70 minutes gone. Independent off-tube studio commentary. Chelsea 1, Brentford 3. Still coming up at 5:30 on this service this evening. Manchester United against Leicester City. Should be a very good game at Old Trafford. And then 2 games in the Premier League tomorrow at 2 o'clock. West Ham take on Everton at 4:30. I'll be back for a commentary of the game between Tottenham and Newcastle. And Palace against Arsenal completes the this weekend's fixtures in the Premier League. Before those Champions League games on Tuesday, Benfica, Liverpool and Man City, Atletico Madrid, both those games available on our service. On Wednesday we have the previously postponed Premier League game between Burnley and Everton. That is a 7:30 kickoff. That will be available on our service, as will the 2 Champions League quarter-finals, I should say, between Chelsea and Real Madrid, and Villarreal and Bayern Munich. So those are the games on Wednesday. Back to action here at Stamford Bridge. It's Chelsea in possession at the edge of their own penalty area. Long clearance from Edouard Mendy up towards the halfway line, taken down by Kai Havertz, gets away from Janelt and then plays the ball towards Reece James. He's got acres of space down the right-hand side. He gets towards the edge of the area, plays it. He was playing it in front of Kovacic. Kovacic wanted it square, but the loose ball has been saved by Hakim Ziyech. And so Chelsea still in possession. Here is Loftus-Cheek now. Over towards Azpilicueta. Now it's with Reece James down the right-hand side. James back to Azpilicueta. The ball comes in. It's flicked away by Mads Roslev. And he chases that one down, but he can't keep it in play. Will be a throw-on to Chelsea down the left-hand side. Taken by Ziyech to Kovacic. Back to Ziyech. Roslev gets in the way of that, though, and then Eriksen plays a short ball towards Mbuemo. And then Mbuemo backheels that, but it's picked off by Azpilicueta. And now Chelsea back in possession here with Reece James. Stood up here by Rico Henry, having to go back towards Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Square now towards Kovacic. And Kovacic back now towards the left-hand side here as the ball is played back in towards Rudiger. And now it's with Loftus-Cheek. And now Azpilicueta towards Mount. Mount's ball to James, only just kept in play. Mount asked an awful lot of his teammate there, but it was kept in. Now back with Azpilicueta. The move has just lost a little bit of its speed, but Chelsea still in possession here. Azpilicueta in towards Loftus-Cheek. He then plays it square. Ball played over the top, and that one drops straight to David Raya. In fact, Raya lets it go out for a goal kick. No problems there. And the ball now back with the Bees keeper. Just looking across at the bigger results in the Championship this afternoon. Bournemouth lead against Bristol City by 2-0 in the Championship West London derby. I bet many QPR and Fulham fans can't believe that they're in a West London derby in the Championship and Brentford are in one in the Premier League, but that's the way it is these days. And it is QPR 0, Fulham 1 in that game. And it won't be a surprise for you to know that Alexander Mitrovic has scored the goal for Fulham this season. 35 in 35 for Mitrovic. Absolutely amazing goal scoring stats from the Serbian. If he could just take a fraction of that form into the Premier League, he really would be a force. But Mitrovic, similarly like Fulham, seems to be a little bit too good for the Championship and not quite good enough for the Premier League. And the previous attempts that they've had always seem to go down after one season. In the meantime, Mateo Kovacic tries a speculative effort from a long way out, and no danger of that one troubling David Raya. Had a little bit of a bounce to it, so Kovacic thought he could use that to try and get some curl on and get it into the top corner. But in the end, it's not to be. It's wide of the mark. And now Raya waiting to take this goal kick. Already a few hands waving behind that Brentford goal from Chelsea fans, telling Raya to hurry up. But you can certainly expect that Brentford will be doing what they can just to eke out a few seconds here. But they're forward on the attack now with Mbuemo. He finds Janelt. Janelt tries to play a ball square. That's good play, though, from Rudiger. He gets there first and clears that one down the right-hand side. Havertz holding it up, and he does really well to play it through to Kovacic, but that's a good slide challenge there from Ayer. Wins the ball back for Brentford, and now Henry plays it into Janelt. Janelt's ball to Mbuemo is just behind him, and Chelsea can go forward here now with Kovacic. Runs straight into trouble, though. And now it's with Rico Henry inside to Christian Eriksen. Mbuemo finds Ivan Toney in a bit of space down the right-hand side. Toney breaks into the box. He tries an effort. That gets a deflection. It's out for a corner kick. And so, even though Chelsea dominating in possession, Brentford are still finding their chances here to try and get forward. And Ivan Toney certainly looking much happier now. When you consider that he's had his problems with social media this season, Ivan Toney, on a couple of occasions caught out just being a little bit disparaging about his club. I think the second time was more of a sort of response to get rid of the person who was asking questions, but the first time certainly can't be used that as an excuse. A corner kick comes in, it's headed down by Toney, gets a deflection off the back of Rudiger in the end, and then it goes out down the left-hand side. It's out for a throw to Brentford. Reece James just bumping into Bryan Mbeumo there, but no harm done. Both players with a quick handshake there, and it will be a throw to Brentford now, which Ethan Pinnock, I have to say, Ethan Pinnock really is strolling towards this. Certainly if Brentford were 1-0 down now, he'd be running a lot quicker to take this throw, but as I say, it's nothing unique. I'm not really sure there is a club in the league who could claim that they don't waste time when they're in front. Even the sides who would say they would never take a dive like Sean Dyche's Burnley, I think you couldn't say that they've never wasted a minute or two when they've been in front. As the ball now goes down the right-hand side here. Brentford in possession with Christopher Ayer. Plays a good ball as well to find Roslev. Roslev's ball in. There's three players waiting inside the box, but the ball deflects off Antonio Rudiger, and it's out for a Brentford corner. So now a good little spell of Brentford pressure again here in the last few minutes. And certainly this is all good news for the visitors, because it means that they're just having to spend less time defending their own goal. They still have this 2-goal lead here at Stamford Bridge. Corner kick now to be taken from the right-hand side. Pinnock and Janssen there in discussion as to where to position themselves. It's an outswinger from Eriksen. Toney tries to get underneath it. There's a bit of a scramble at the edge of the 6-yard box. Norgard tries an overhead kick. There's a fall inside the box. Norgard hits the deck. Janelt that tries an effort. It pinballs off a Chelsea man, and it's away for a corner kick, I think, although Brentford are furious here. They think they should be getting a penalty kick. Andy Madley, I can just see him saying, we will check. Well, they always check. That's pretty much the referee's new job now, is to just to tell everyone, calm down, we're going to check it. But meanwhile, it looks like... is that Hakim Ziyech who's hit the deck there? I think he's fallen over a little bit awkwardly. He might have actually bumped into one of his own teammates there as well. He then gets hit in the chest by Janelt as he's trying to hit the ball. Ziyech has picked himself up now. I don't think there's any kind of delay for a VAR check, so this is going to be a corner kick for Brentford. Eriksen is standing over this one. Just waiting to see where everyone is. It's a real glut of players inside that 6-yard box. As Eriksen lifts it once again, it's Antonio Rudiger that gets his head to it. Cleared back into midfield. Henry just gets there ahead of Kovacic, and that's good play there from Roslev. He puts it out for a throw. He had plenty of teammates in front of him, but there was always a risk a Chelsea player could get hold of that ball, and then Brentford would have nobody back. So Roslev is the last man. Safety first just gives Chelsea a throw deep inside their own half, and now Chelsea building down the right-hand side. Azpilicueta finding a Reece James under pressure there from Pinnock, going back towards Azpilicueta. Now it's with Thiago Silva just inside the centre circle here. Chelsea edging into the Brentford half now with Mateo Kovacic towards Kai Havertz. Ziyech down the left-hand side. Kovacic back to Ziyech, edge of the area, can't quite get away. The ball is now played back towards Rudiger, and now Azpilicueta finding Mason Mount with a bit of space. Here is Reece James. Break into the penalty area, can't. He's got Rico Henry in front of him, and now a loose ball at the edge of the box is picked off by Ivan Toney, who is back at the edge of his own penalty area. So all of a sudden Brentford can now play out from the back. It's with Norgard. He finds Mbuemo, just a bit of a heavy touch there from Bryan Mbeumo. Chelsea now back in possession with Azpilicueta in towards Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Square now to Mason Mount, under a bit of pressure. Mount firing a ball down the right-hand side in for Havertz. Havertz then finds Reece James, who then plays it square towards Mateo Kovacic. Lukaku barely had a touch, Lukaku, since he's come on, but then he lays the ball off. It's crossed in, it's headed down by Havertz. It's not too far away from Raya's back post, far post I should say. But just looking at that replay again, ball a bit too high there for Lukaku, and Havertz's header just gets away from goal. But, coming up to 81 minutes gone now at Stamford Bridge. It is Chelsea 1, Brentford 3. Still goalless between Brighton and Norwich. It's still Burnley 0, Man City 2. It's still Leeds 1, Southampton 1, and Wolves still lead against Aston Villa by 2-0. And in the early game today, Liverpool beat Watford by 2-0. It's now with Ruben Loftus-Cheek into the Brentford half. He goes. He's got an option of Kovacic down the left-hand side. That's where the ball has gone. Kovacic plays a good ball down the left. I thought it was a good ball down the left. It may well be that either Havertz was just a bit slow to go after it. Now, Matthias Jensen was ready to come on for Brentford about a minute before Brentford scored their third goal, and in the end, Thomas Frank deciding that he didn't want to make that change then, but he does want to make the change now. So Matthias Jensen will be coming on, and he comes on for Vitaly Janelt. Janelt has had an excellent game for Brentford this afternoon, scoring 2 goals, and a big round of applause from the travelling fans, the travelling Brentford fans there for Vitaly Janelt as well. So he's bedded into this team very well, Vitaly Janelt. Big parts in Brentford's promotion, and has had some big performances now that they've gotten into the Premier League as well. There's a long clearance now from David Raya. Ball drops in midfield as Pontus Jansson leaves that one, and it's picked off by Mason Mount. Mount then finds Ziyech. Ziyech's ball into the 6-yard box. That's a great challenge. Once again, Christopher Ajer sliding in and putting that ball out for a corner. He's done that 3 or 4 times for Brentford already this afternoon. It's going to be an out-swinging corner now from Hakim Ziyech. Plenty waiting inside the penalty area. Ziyech's ball's over the head of Loftus-Cheek and of Reece James. The ball then drops into midfield where Kovacic is one of the last men back for Chelsea. Another cross coming in over the head of Lukaku, over the head of Havertz, headed away towards the edge of the box. Loftus-Cheek heads it towards Reece James, who hits it on the volley. Goodness me. And in the end, that ball dropping a long, long way from goal. But in the meantime, it's just the camera just focusing on Thomas Tuchel. As I say, he made his last change on 63 minutes. Brentford now have got a bit of a problem here as Christopher Ajer seems to have a bit of cramp. But as soon as the referee and Kai Havertz come towards him, then the cramp has healed. So potentially it was one of those where he just wanted an extra moment there just to pick himself up. Of course, Chelsea were looking to cement their place in third with a win today. If they were to go on and lose this, then they would be 5 points clear of Arsenal, but Arsenal would have that game in hand, albeit the game in hand for the Gunners is the Monday night game away at Palace, which is certainly not a foregone conclusion. Arsenal are certainly not guaranteed to get 3 points there. So it's certainly still a very open battle for that third place. But when you consider how Arsenal started the season, the fact that they're even in the reckoning for third place with 9 or 10 games left of the season really does show how much Arteta has improved that side. As Brentford now give away a corner kick. Christian Eriksen was expecting a free kick there. He was just trying to hold the ball up, let it go out for a goal kick, and he was shoved. Well, he thought he was shoved. I think it was a shoulder to shoulder. And the referee agrees. It's a corner kick to Chelsea. An outswinger from the right-hand side from Mason Mount. Meanwhile, the Brentford defenders are complaining about something, as is Azpilicueta here, the Chelsea captain. Andy Madley just calling him and Mad Rodslev over for this one. Finally see this corner kick now as Mount with the outswinger headed up in the air by Pontus Jansson back into midfield. There is Hakim Ziyech. He finds Mason Mount. Mount lifts this one towards the back post, but Raya, well, I criticised him in the first half saying that claiming crosses isn't his first love, but he does very well there. There were 2 players jumping with him. Does well to hold on to it, and he bowls it out quickly here towards Ivan Toney. Puts a great long ball through to Eriksen, who heads it on now for Bryan Mbeumo. Mbuemo holds it up and goes back towards Matthias Jensen. So the Bees trying to just keep the ball inside Chelsea territory, with Eriksen finding Rico Henry, and he's been dispossessed by James, but James couldn't keep it in place, so it's out for a throw to Brentford down the left-hand side. And meanwhile, the Bees are making their second change of the afternoon, and Bryan Mbeumo is going to get the hook with just over 5 minutes to go. It's been a good performance from Mbuemo, who's involved in the goals, and he's being replaced by Yoan Wissa, who's certainly shown some very impressive moments for Brentford this season. Wissa hasn't quite been able to displace Mbuemo or Toney in the starting 11 on a regular basis, but certainly scoring a couple of very important goals. That equaliser off the bench against Liverpool in that 3-3 draw, as well as the winner away at the London Stadium deep into injury time there. Brentford beating West Ham, and West Ham will certainly be looking to try and return the favour next Sunday when Brentford play the Hammers at the Brentford Community Stadium. So Yoan Wissa on to replace Bryan Mbeumo. Less than 5 minutes to go now until we hit injury time at Stamford Bridge. And a real upset on the cards here as newly promoted Brentford lead against their much bigger, much grander West London neighbours by 3-1. As Ivan Toney now dispossessed by Hakim Ziyech and fouled by Hakim Ziyech. Bit of a sort of a sarcastic reply there from Ziyech, as if to say, yeah, of course it is a foul, ref, of course it is. But I think that will certainly do Brentford. The idea that Ivan Toney now just needs a moment to pick himself up. It's a free kick. Brentford are going to have to get players into position and ask the referee where the free kick's going to be taken from and all that. So it's all building towards Brentford being able to just kill a few more seconds here in these dying minutes. As I say, our game and the game at Ellen Road are the furthest into the match. The Wolves Villa game and the Brighton Norwich game are a good 3 or 4 minutes behind ours. Must have had a bit more injury time in the first half, but it's a free kick to Brentford on the right-hand side. Eriksen takes it short. It's then a deep cross over towards Pinnock, who heads it down. It then drops to Wissa straight off the bench, and he seals the points here for Brentford. Yoan Wissa with another goal from the substitutes bench to make it Chelsea 1, Brentford 4, and this really is a turn-up for the books now. Brentford are going to get all 3 points from this game. Of that there is surely no doubt. And this is turning into an absolute disaster for Chelsea this afternoon. The way in which they've been so susceptible to that second ball. A cross comes in from Christian Eriksen. And we'll see nobody offside as that ball is put in by Nørgaard. Headed down by Pinnock. Thiago Silva and Rudiger getting each other's way. And there is Wissa crashing that ball into the bottom corner before Edouard Mendy even had a chance to realise that the ball was in the back of the net. Brentford have played an absolute blinder here in the second half, taking advantage of some real ordinary defending here from Chelsea, it has to be said. And when you combine the experience of Thiago Silva and Antonio Rudiger, the fact that between the two of them, neither of them can get a clearance onto that loose ball will certainly be a real worry there for Thomas Tuchel. But Thomas Frank certainly won't care about that at all. He'll be absolutely delighted that his side are going to be taking 3 points from this West London derby. And Brentford now will certainly feel as though they're one major step away from securing relegation, from securing survival in the Premier League this season. They'll be 14th place, looking at the live table, 33 points, and a booster of their goals as well. Of course, a +3 goal difference from this game as it stands will certainly be very welcome for the Bees. And ball over the top now, one for Toney to chase. But Thiago Silva is there first, plays it in towards Loftus-Cheek. Goodness me, look how many empty seats there are around Stamford Bridge now. I'm not saying that it's emptied completely, but considering it was a sellout, I would reckon that about a third of that stand behind the Brentford goal is now empty. And certainly it's going to be a famous win here for Brentford by all accounts. There really is very little time now. So we can see Petr Cech, the Chelsea director of football there. Hasn't really looked up from his phone. They showed us him earlier in the half. He was checking something on his phone. He's checking again. Perhaps doesn't really want to see what's happening on the pitch here. It's a free kick to Chelsea from the right-hand side. It's swung in, punched away by Raya. The loose ball drops to Lukaku. Lukaku gets a shot away. It's charged down by a good challenge there from Ivan Toney. And eventually the ball is put out for a throw. In the meantime, Aston Villa have got a goal back at Molineux, so it's not game over there yet. Wolves 2, Villa 1 now. And it's Ollie Watkins, the former Brentford man, from the penalty spot, giving Villa half a chance there to try and save a point at Molineux. Throw on now to Brentford, but they are taking their time. They're also making a change here as well, as Rico Henry has come off for these last few minutes to be replaced by Sergi Canos. So Canos being asked to play in that defensive left role just for the, there's less than 30 seconds of regulation play left now at Stamford Bridge. We'll go into injury time. I would guess there's going to be 4 or 5 minutes of it. As a ball over the top now for Havertz. He gets there first, does he? Yes, he does. But Raya is there and is able to just claim the ball. Havertz couldn't quite get the flick on that he wanted there. And so we can see the away end now absolutely bouncing here, the Brentford fans. It's not a long trip at all, is it really? From Brentford to Chelsea. One of the shorter trips in terms of home to away, but Brentford certainly wouldn't have expected much from this game. And after a first half where Brentford started well and didn't put away their early chances, Chelsea finished the first half stronger, and then you just figured that in the second half Chelsea are bound to be better, and within 3 minutes Chelsea were in front, and you thought, right, well, this is going to be what you would expect now from a league game between Chelsea and Brentford. But then everything went against the script book after that, with 3 quick goals from the Bees, and then that 4th goal as well from Wissa straight off the bench. Thomas Frank will be absolutely delighted with this performance, and if Brentford can follow this up with at least a draw at home to West Ham next week, and then that big game away at Vicarage Road the week after, to say by St George's Day when Brentford take on Spurs, you would imagine that by then the Bees could actually be in a position where they're almost safe. But let's not say that too soon, of course, because there's certainly still plenty that could happen in those next few weeks. And as we can see, sides around Brentford are picking up points. Leeds were in front against Southampton. That game's going to injury time now. It's still 1-1. As Burnley are still 2 down at home to Man City. Burnley have got a massive game against Everton in midweek. To say, if Everton were to lose that, then that gives Burnley half a chance to get out of relegation, and it drags Everton straight back into it. Camera now focusing on Matthew Benham, the Brentford owner, who ploughed millions into this club when they were in League One. And most smart business minds at that time would have said to him that you're wasting your money, you're just chasing a dream, that you want your little club to be a much bigger force in English football one day. Well, fast forward 13, 14 years, and that's precisely what's happening now. Brentford are a much bigger force under Matt Benham, with a new stadium, a much improved training ground, and of course with Matt Benham also owning FC Midtjylland, then they've still got a real good link there with Denmark, and you can see that with the amount of coaches and Danish players in the Brentford squad. I have just allowed myself to go off on a little tangent because there's been a clash of heads here inside the Brentford penalty area between Pontus Jansson. I can't quite see who the Chelsea man was there. Camera just panned away. But we've still got, in theory, over 2 minutes of injury time still to play here. By the way, in the other West London derby, Alexander Mitrovic has scored again. It's quite a ridiculous season that Mitrovic is having for Fulham, scoring so many goals. And as I say, people were saying, well, he can't keep this going all season. He is. He's played 36 games for Fulham this season, and he's still at a rate of a goal a game, which is quite incredible. As we're now getting a quick rundown of the 5 goals we've seen in this very exciting second half. First of all, that amazing strike from Rudiger, then the equaliser from Janelt. Then Eriksen just moments later putting Brentford 2-1 in front before Mbuemo and Toney combined to thread the ball through to Janelt. He then clipped the ball over a dive of Mendy. He did get a hand to it but couldn't make the save. And then after that, miscued clearance from Rudiger, substitute to Yoan Wissa with Brentford's 4th. And just waiting now for the game to be restarted with this injury to Pontus Jansson and to Lukaku. But they're both up on their feet now, and as I say, that stand behind David Raya is more than half empty now. So as I say, the Chelsea fans just looking to try and make it to the exit, get away, whether they've driven or taken the tube. And they're certainly very disappointed with how the game has gone this afternoon. But seconds now until the end of this game. It's all over, by the way, at Turf Moor. It's finished Burnley 0, Manchester City 2. So City picking up another 3 points. They needed to, really, with Liverpool picking up 3 points earlier today. And we've had over the 4 minutes of injury time. Now, so we did have a long head injury there with that's a clash of heads. Lukaku was down momentarily. Then Havertz and Janssen needed to be checked over. But now we've got Just a few more seconds to play in this game, you would imagine, as Azpilicueta then plays the ball down the right-hand side for Reece James. His ball into the box is cleared up towards the halfway line, and then potentially Ivan Toney can be away here for Brentford. He's got options left and right. He's got Canos to the right, to the left. He's got Wissa to the right. But now here comes Roslev arriving on the right-hand side. He then lifts the ball in. Oh, it's just over the head of Toney, headed away for a corner kick. Are we even going to have time to see this corner? Well, it looks like the referee is going to allow play to go on for the time being. It's over, by the way, at Ellen Road. So Leeds United 1, Southampton 1 is the full-time score. Harrison for Leeds, and then Ward-Prowse for Southampton. You can see the Brentford fans behind the goal looking absolutely delighted. Certainly couldn't have predicted this. And you would imagine that this corner kick must be the last set piece of the game. We've had pretty much 2 minutes of injury time over the allotted 4 we were supposed to have. The ball played in, it's flicked away, and it's out for a corner kick. Aya, I think, got the final touch, and that will in fact be the last action of this game. An incredible game here at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea took the lead inside 3 minutes inside of the second half, but then Brentford with 4 goals here on the road to give themselves a famous victory. It's all over at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea 1, Brentford 4. From myself, Paul Szczerbakowicz, thank you very much, and do join us again soon.